Welcome to another Luck Scout bedtime story. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled by the edge of a vast and calm sea, there lived an old man named Elias. Elias was known as the Lantern Keeper, for he took care of the lighthouse that stood proudly on a cliff overlooking the ocean. Every evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Elias would light the lantern in the lighthouse, guiding ships safely to shore. The lighthouse had been a beacon of hope and safety for as long as the villagers could remember. Its warm, steady light brought comfort to those at sea and a sense of peace to those on land. Elias took great pride in his work, knowing that his small act of lighting the lantern made a difference in the lives of many. The villagers loved Elias and admired his dedication, but they also noticed that he had grown older and more tired with each passing year. They worried about who would take over the important task of keeping the light burning, but Elias always reassured them with a gentle smile. One evening, after lighting the lantern, Elias sat on a bench overlooking the sea, watching the waves gently lap against the shore. He felt a sense of contentment, knowing that he had fulfilled his duty once again. As he gazed at the stars beginning to twinkle in the sky, he reflected on the many years he had spent as the lantern keeper and the peace it had brought him. One night, as Elias prepared to light the lantern, a sudden storm rolled in from the sea. Dark clouds gathered quickly, and the wind howled through the village, carrying with it the scent of rain and salt water. The waves crashed violently against the cliffs, and the once calm sea became a swirling tempest. Elias knew that this storm would be a dangerous one, and the ships out at sea would need the lighthouse's guidance more than ever. As the night wore on, the storm showed no signs of letting up. Elias stayed by the lantern, keeping watch over the sea and ensuring that the light never faltered. He felt the weight of his years, but he also felt a deep sense of purpose and determination. The lighthouse had never let anyone down, and he would make sure that it never would. The storm raged through the night, but Elias never left his post. He kept the lantern burning, his eyes fixed on the horizon, searching for any signs of ships in distress. The wind howled and the rain poured, but inside the lighthouse the light shone brightly, a steady flame amidst the chaos. As the hours passed, Elias began to feel the strain of his vigil. His body ached and his eyes grew heavy with exhaustion. But every time he thought of resting, he remembered the sailors out at sea, relying on the lighthouse to guide them safely home. With renewed determination, he kept the light burning, knowing that he was their only hope. In the darkest hours of the night, Elias spotted a faint light in the distance, a ship struggling against the storm. His heart leaped with both fear and hope. He knew that the ship's crew would be fighting for their lives, trying to navigate through the treacherous waters. The lighthouse was their only guide, and Elias was determined to keep the light burning until they reached safety. With each passing moment, the ship drew closer to shore, guided by the steady glow of the lantern. Elias watched anxiously as the ship battled the waves, its crew no doubt exhausted and desperate, but the light held strong, and eventually the ship found its way to the calm waters of the harbour, safe from the storm's fury. As dawn broke over the horizon, the storm finally began to subside. The clouds parted, revealing the first rays of sunlight peeking through the sky. The sea, which had been so wild and turbulent, now shimmered with a soft golden light. The storm had passed, and the village was once again at peace. Elias, exhausted but relieved, watched as the ship safely docked in the harbour. He could see the sailors disembarking, their faces filled with gratitude as they looked up at the lighthouse that had guided them through the night. The lantern keeper's light had once again fulfilled its purpose. Feeling a deep sense of satisfaction, Elias slowly descended the stairs of the lighthouse. His body was weary, but his heart was light. He knew that he had done his duty, and the lives he had helped save filled him with a quiet joy. As the days turned into weeks, Elias began to prepare for the time when he would no longer be able to keep the lantern burning. He shared his knowledge and experience with the villagers, teaching them how to care for the lighthouse and keep the light shining bright. He knew that the village would need a new lantern keeper, someone who would carry on the tradition and ensure that the light never went out. One evening, as the sun set over the sea, Elias gathered the villagers by the lighthouse. He lit the lantern one last time, watching as its warm glow filled the room. He then turned to the villagers and said, "This light has guided many through dark and stormy nights. It is a reminder that even in the darkest times, there is always hope. The light will continue to shine as long as there are those who are willing to keep it burning." The villagers, moved by Elias's words, vowed to carry on his legacy. They promised to keep the lighthouse shining bright, ensuring that it would always be a beacon of hope and safety for those at sea. Elias felt a deep sense of peace, knowing that the light he had tended for so many years would continue to bring comfort and guidance to others. As you lie in your bed tonight, dear Luck Scouter, imagine yourself standing by the lighthouse, feeling the warmth of the lantern's light and hearing the gentle lapping of the waves against the shore. Let the story of the lantern keeper's light fill your heart with hope and reassurance. Remember that even in the darkest storms, there is always a light to guide you. And with perseverance and dedication, you can weather any storm. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let go of all your worries. The promise of light and the strength to endure are with you, guiding you to a night of restful and pleasant dreams, and a tomorrow filled with peace and joy. Good night.